What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the first ever Bills Mafia Time to Shine. My name is Joe Miller. You can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired, and I am super excited for this show. For those of you that don't necessarily know what this show is about, last year I did a pregame show, a pregame pod, if you will, that came before my, obviously, post-game pod that I did every single week. And in my pregame pod, I started a segment called the Bills Mafia Time to Shine, where I had people, you guys, Bills Mafia, send me audio clips of your predictions or your hot takes. And then I would play them on my show, on my pregame show. Well, that has been expanded to what you are viewing or listening to now, which is basically, I'm gonna put it all in the wind. I'm gonna throw it all out there. We are living in a place where I have broadcast the link to this show for everybody in the world to potentially join it. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm really excited to kind of find out what's going to happen, but I want you to come in. I want you to click that link. I want you to, and I'll bring you guys on one at a time here in a second. And then I just want you to give me a game prediction. I want you to give me a hot take, whatever you've got, whatever you feel about this football game tomorrow is what I'm looking for. So if you see the link, if you've got a take, click the link, jump in line. You'll still be able to hear me. And we'll work this thing out. But real quick before we do that, I've got some things that I need to work through. And my sister is already in the room. What's up, Jamie? Jamie, you should click the link and give me a hot take for tomorrow's football game. Love you. Good to see you, sis. What an incredible week it's been. So real quick, I just got to get through some small things. The Deion Dawkins Rally the Wagons party last week on Friday. It's been an insane week. I took this entire week off of work. For two reasons. Number one, to prep myself for everything that was going to happen as far as Bills Mafia stuff, opening week, right? So home opener week. And then also, I may or may not have gutted my bathroom, my master bathroom, 2 months ago. And I may or may not have done nothing with it since then. So literally, when I gutted my bathroom, I was like, if I gut this thing completely, it's going to motivate me to get it done. Well, it didn't. And my wife was a little bit angry with me. So I used this week to get a really good head start on that. So that is rocking and rolling as well. But the Deion Dawkins Rally the Wagons party was last Friday. That was great. Wingfest. I went to Wingfest with Jay Spence the King and with some of the Bills Mafia babes. I got to meet Ashley Petty that day. That was fantastic. We did a live on location Hump Day hotline at O'Neill's Stadium Inn. That was amazing. The who's who of Bills Mafia Twitter was in the room. The Bills Mafia homecoming party at Soho was unbelievable. Shout out to my man Jeremy from Cold Front. What a party. I'm going to be honest with you. There were so many people. There were so many characters. There were so many Bills Mafia faces, Twitter, names, people that you would recognize. There was an open bar for 5 hours, and there was free, basically, finger foods, which was incredible. That came with the price of the ticket. This is what I want to say. The party was such a success. Nobody got out of control. Free, open bar for 5 hours. Nobody was out of control. It was unbelievable. It was a great time. Everybody was so excited to see each other, to be back connected for the first time in 2 years. It was absolutely amazing. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm excited for next year already. I'm already excited for that party next year. So the homecoming party was amazing. And then today I just got back from the Circle the Wagon skating party for charity, put on by Jay Spencer King, the Bills Mafia babes, Poncho's Army, and they raised a bunch of money for charities for both Poncho's Army. And I'll be honest with you, I can't remember who the other charity was, but a whole bunch of money. Bills Mafia doing what Bills Mafia does, which is absolutely incredible. I've got a couple critical notes for this football game, and then I'll start bringing you guys on. Starla Tulele will not play in this football game tomorrow. He has an injured calf. Emmanuel Sanders is questionable with a foot. I'll tell you this. I expect him to play. I'm not going to say that I have sources, but I kind of have a source. He's been battling this foot thing all through preseason and training camp. I don't expect it to keep him out of this football game. Clearly, I could always be wrong, but this is a foot problem he's had for a while. I don't see it bothering him enough to keep him out. TJ Watt has signed. Some of you were probably watching along as the TJ Watt saga was unfolding. There was a little bit of a stalemate. TJ Watt was practicing. However, he was not practicing with the team. He was just doing sideline drills and things like that. He did sign a record-breaking $112 million extension with $80 million guaranteed. He is now the highest-paid defensive player in NFL history, and he will play tomorrow in this football game. Other than that, the Steelers are mostly healthy. So I just rebroadcast, or I should say I just commented out the link to this stream. I've already got people in the queue. I've got people in the green room. So we're going to do it. We're going to do this thing right now. And my first guest,
cool,
from all the way across the pond. What's up, brother? Saxon Dave, my guy, Dave Thorpe. Before you get started, bro, how did you become a Bills fan?
Oh, man. I've been a Bills fan since the early 80s. We kind of only got NFL in the UK in 84.
Right.
And obviously at a young age then, all those years ago, I kind of got into the NFL. And there was a crazy clip. There was basically two Bills fans in the middle of a snowstorm doing a Mexican wave by themselves. And I was like, that's my kind of crazy. And that's been my team ever since.
That is amazing. What time is it there right now in the UK?
It's nearly 1:10 in the morning.
My guy. You are my guy. So Dave, just for those of you that don't know the history, Dave is there's a couple early adopters to my show, to my program, to my podcast. Dave is one of them. Pam Madonna is another. Clayton Garrett from Cold Front was an early adopter. There's a couple of you, and Dave has been with me pretty much since the beginning in 2019. So Dave, brother, it's your time to shine. The floor is yours. Go for it.
Okay, we've kind of got two opinions here. The first one is the myth that I should have been there in person, but it didn't happen. Yes. Which kind of makes me think it's going to be pretty much like last year's game, where it's going to be the D-line's going to grind them down and we're going to win out in the end. But then we've got the ridiculously optimistic start of the new season, 17-0 Super Bowl champion Bills prediction. That's going to be, I think there's going to be a pick six. I think there's going to be a 60-plus yards play touchdown from scrimmage. I'm thinking Breida and Knox are going to be the big names of this game, not the ones you'd expect. And that's it. We're going to smash him. That's all I can say, really.
What do you got for a final score?
Final score, 38-17.
38-17. What do you see from the trenches? What do you see from that offensive line and defense? Because if you remember last year, it was a situation where we struggled. We were on the struggle bus a little bit in that first half until Cam Hayward was crushing us. And then they double teamed Cam and allowed TJ Watt to be on an island with Darrell Williams, and that changed pretty much the whole complex of the game. Where do you see the trenches in this football game?
Yeah, to be fair, I think I'm quite optimistic for our new O-line this year. I think the D-line is going to be awesome all year, and I think that's where they're going to win it really on D. Is going to be I'm all about the D defense, that is. I believe that's where we're going to win it. But yeah, really optimistic start of the year. How can you not be?
Awesome.
Super Bowl champ.
Super Bowl champ. Saxon Dave, you the man, the myth, the legend, everybody. Dave Thorpe, all the way from the UK. Brother, enjoy this game tomorrow. Go Bills, brother. We'll see you very soon. Hopefully next week. Later, brother.
Yeah.
Bye. That was awesome. So that was Saxon Dave Thorpe, all the way from the. So if you were listening to this show last year, you heard his voice every single week in my pregame show on the Bills Mafia Time to Shine. Next up in the queue, Chris Janke. Chris, my brother, what's up?
Yo, what's up, Joe? How's it going?
I've been anxious all day. I have been, and it's not because I had to go skate. Like I went roller skating today. I'm a 48-year-old man. I'm anxious not because I'm going roller skating. I'm anxious because of this football game tomorrow, because this is the first time that we had expectations last year, and the expectation last year was we need to win the East. We need to win a playoff game.
Right.
That expectation is very different and a lot heavier this year. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree with you 100%. That was the thing that I really wanted to talk to you about when I came on today, because I was thinking about it today, and I've been thinking about it all weekend. It's like it's so easy to forget as Bills fans that, I mean, people in the national media are picking us to like go to the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, Josh for MVP. I'm all up for. Hey, we're a good team. I think we deserve kind of some of the spotlight that we're getting, because I mean they're well coached. We got a great GM. They had a great off season. They brought everybody back, but I'm like you, man. I'm nervous. I really am.
Yep.
But that's, I'm just kind of that way with sports in general. So,
so break it down for me, brother. This is your time to shine. This is your moment. What do you got for me?
All right. So I just heard Saxon Dave with his, what was it, 38-17 or something. I mean, hey,
38-17, and he always has the pick six in there. He always gets the pick six in there, which is awesome.
Okay. So my predictions for this game are not going to be maybe so hot as others. I think it's so if or, but I think if the Bills can get off to an early lead, which there's one thing I have confidence in. I think their offense is just going to be as potent as it was last year.
Right. I agree 100%. From what I saw in preseason and from the open practices, yes.
Yes, absolutely. So here's the thing. If this is a close, grinded out kind of game, Pittsburgh could stay in it because, they got Najee Harris running. I know they don't have a great offensive line, but when you don't have a good offensive line, what do? You run the ball. And that's something that the Bills kind of struggle with. And I feel they might even struggle even more without Starr out there. I don't know. So if it turns into that kind of game, I think it could be pretty close. If we get up by 2 touchdowns and it's the third quarter, they're not going to be able to do these long drives, 8 minutes, 9 minutes scores. They're going to have to start slinging and throwing the ball around. And that's where I think, number one, our defensive line can get pressure on Roethlisberger and, really kind of mess up their rhythm. But the way I see it, I think this is going to be a closer game than some others think. I think this is a really tough game to start out the year. When I look at the schedule through the rest of the year, I'm like, okay, Washington football team at home, that'll be, they're a tough team, but, we should handle that at home, right? The Texans at home, Dolphins, we freaking own the Dolphins, right? It's just to start out the year, this is a tough one. I think it's going to be more like 28-20. But I would not be surprised if it was like a 3-point win or something. I mean,
I can't necessarily disagree with you. So 28-20 is your prediction?
That's the prediction I'm going to go with. Yeah.
What do you got for a stat line for Josh Allen before I let you go?
Oh boy.
The pressure's on.
Yeah, I didn't even think about this. I think let's see. What did I say? 28-20. All right. I think he'll throw for 3 touchdowns. I don't think he'll throw a pick. I'm gonna say maybe 375 yards.
I like it.
I would not be surprised, and I know there are some people who are whatever, but I would not be surprised to see them try and run the ball more. Because I think if they do get up, I think that's this time where you say, okay, we got to run the ball and take some of the clock out. The Steelers also, Stephon Tuitt, one of their big defensive linemen, won't play in the game. He's starting the year out on IR. So that's going to help them a little bit, I think. So, yeah, I'm going 28-20. Let's say Josh, no interceptions, 3 touchdowns, and let's say 375. How about that?
I like it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the real Chris Jenke, which if you peruse or travel around or make your way around and mingle in any of the Buffalo Bills Mafia content creator videos, you will see Chris Jenke. So Chris Jenke, I appreciate you, man. I love you.
Love you too, bro.
Thank you for being a part of the show. Go Bills.
Go Bills. Thanks for having me on, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So that was Chris Jenke. Chris is the man. He is my self-proclaimed, and I'm here for it all day long, corrector of the things that Joe Miller says wrong. I misspeak and I get names wrong all the time, and Chris is always right on top of that for me, which is great. You will find him in the chat all day long. Chris is just the man. But right now, I'm super excited to bring on my next guest, and she doesn't know she's next, but Tia Stell.
Hey.
What's up, darling? How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing very well. What are you doing? It looks like you're on the front porch.
I am. I'm chilling with my wife right now on the front porch, chilling.
It is an amazing evening. Today was for those of you that are not in Buffalo. It was 79, 80 degrees today, no humidity. It was absolutely perfect.
A great day.
It did not snow. I know that people think that it only snows in Buffalo, but it did not snow. Which
the one
is
thing that happens in Buffalo, the weather.
Yeah,
it snows.
It's absolutely fantastic. So if I wasn't down in my basement right now recording the show talking to you, I would be on my back porch as well right now, probably sipping something kind of adult beveragey and having just a little bit of you probably heard me say it already. I'm a little bit anxious for tomorrow. How are you feeling about tomorrow's game?
It's like Christmas. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep.
Oh.
Seriously.
I hear you. I gotta be up. I gotta be up at 5:30, and that's not abnormal. I'm always up at 5:30. But there's an aspect of what you're talking about. Like normally, I'm 48. I got 2 girls, and so what you go through it right as a kid. You can't sleep, whatever. Then you become an adult, and then Christmas isn't a big deal. You got things to do, yada yada. Then you have kids, and now you can't sleep because they're little kids, and you want to know. And then they grow up, and it's like you're back to like, it's Christmas. I'm just gonna fall asleep anyway. And I'm legit. I'm anxious. I'm on edge.
Absolutely.
I'm legit on edge.
I'm ready for it to start. I'm ready for people to understand that last year was not a fluke for Josh.
Nope,
Diggs,
it was not.
Because they're still like, yeah, that was a great year, but
right.
And it's just like the guy is trending up for the last 3 years.
Only up.
Like, stop it.
Only up.
Enough.
So let's do this. Why don't we jump right in this? T, this is your moment, hon. This is your time to shine.
Okay, so Josh is going to ball out, of course. I'm going to give him, what did I say, 4 touchdowns. And, Bass got to kick a field goal. So I'm saying 31-27.
31-27. Nice.
Yeah. It's going to be a dogfight, but of course I think the Bills are going to push it out. Gabriel Davis is going to show up. Because everybody is sleeping on, not that everybody's sleeping on him, but you have Beasley, you have Diggs, you have Sanders. The 4th guy is Davis. How are you going to cover him? With whom? Who are you going to cover him with?
Right.
So he is going to be that guy that's going to sneak up and give you at least, I give him 75 to 80 yards tomorrow.
Nice. Do you have any concern about the amount of weapons, wide receiver weapons that Ben has? He's got a bunch.
He does. But I guess my only concern about that is, can he throw the ball?
Uh-oh, lights went out.
Yeah, it did.
It just got dark up in here.
Her phone died. Sorry.
There we go. No worries.
Can he throw the ball? Can Ben throw that ball? And they said that, he's different. He lost weight, a new offensive coordinator who's going to put some different schemes together. So we'll see. I still got my team. I still think that, our defense will show up and show out. So I'm banking on our defense than their offense.
Right, for sure. You gave me a final score prediction, right?
Yeah, 20. I said 31-27. Right?
28, I think you said 20. Was it 31, 20?
Yeah.
Regardless. And then what do you got for Josh Allen prediction?
Ooh. 4 touchdowns.
Woo! Wow, I like it.
Yeah,
only because I've got him in 2 fantasy leagues. I like it.
Oh, do you? Well, you're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. So he got 4 touchdowns. I'll think he have like 350.
350?
Yeah.
Very nice.
And listen, our running back, Devin, I'll give him 75 yards tomorrow.
Gotcha. So what would you do me this favor? So I've got room. I've got one person in the queue right now to come on and give me their takes. It's going to be their moment to shine. What would you say to everybody? Because there's a bunch of people watching this thing. So how would you encourage people to click that link and jump in here and give me their take?
Listen, you got a hot take? The butter voice of Joe Miller? He's going to hook you up. Let's do this. This is a new season. Joe is the man. You got some hot takes. He wants some. Bring them to him. He's ready for you. Let's do this, Bills Mafia.
Let's
do this.
We're
about to win the Super Bowl. So you got to get your hot take in now.
Let's go. That is the lovely and wonderful T. Estelle. And if you have the opportunity and do not know, T. Estelle has a podcast. She's on the Built in Buffalo Network. Do me a favor real quick, T. Tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Sundays. I'll drop tomorrow. I'll change my days from Thursday to Sunday. I'm in the morning. Go check me out. Before you go down to the stadium or while you're driving, listen to me. Yeah. Sundays, before you go to the stadium, listen to me. Not Your Average Podcast in the 716. It's me and Mike. So go check it out.
So if they might find you on the drive to the stadium, they would listen to your podcast. Is that what you're telling me? So
say that again.
I said if they might find you on the drive to the stadium before the Bills game, they can check out your podcast. So I was referring back to my
absolutely
show.
Yes, do that. You won't
awesome.
you won't be you'll be excited. You'll be surprised.
Awesome. T, I love you.
You won't be disappointed.
T, I love you. It was great to meet you on Wednesday night.
Joe.
And
I'm so happy I met you, man.
Yeah, dude, it's super cool just to these people that we're like connected to on Twitter. Finally getting the opportunity to meet all of you, and it's absolutely amazing. So, T, I love you. We'll talk to you soon. Go Bills.
Absolutely. All right.
Give me Go Bills. Go, there it is. Love you, darling. My next guy is I just met him last week, which was totally awesome. So, and I think I did miss one thing in my preview as far as my show stuff. I forgot to mention that we had the last Bills open practice on September 1st, which was Saturday. So we had the Deion Dawkins party and then the open practice on Saturday. And my guy, Richard Rush, was actually there. And then we went to Bar Bill afterwards. Richard Rush, what's up, my man?
It's all good.
It's all
just
good,
ready
man.
for tomorrow.
How will you be consuming the game? Will you be consuming the game alone, with people in the room?
I will be with me and my son.
You and your son, gotcha. I can't watch the football game with people. Like McKenna is fine, my daughter, which I think you met McKenna. Yes. My wife is fine. Addison isn't really into football, but I have a hard time doing parties. I have a really, really hard time doing parties. Like it just because I get a little bit emotional, right? And then I get like, and sometimes I'm taking notes. McKenna gets mad at me because I'm taking notes for my show, and she's like, "Pay attention," and I'm like, "I am paying attention, but I got a show to do after this." So, but Richard, it was great to meet you. It was awesome to finally just connect and sit down and watch a practice and have dinner with you and your son. It was great. But do me a favor, Richard. This is your moment, brother. This is your time to shine for the 2021 season. What you got for me?
First thing, I want to give a big shout out to my son. It's his 18th birthday today.
Happy birthday.
And very happy for the man he's becoming. He absolutely loved meeting you.
Oh, that's awesome.
He just said, "Man, I can't believe I was talking to him so much," because normally it takes him a while to open up, but he was just immediately just.
If you guys only knew, my wife and my kids are like, "Why do people like you?" I'm like, "I don't know."
It's because you're you.
It's because I'm pretty much the same person here that I am in real life. And you can attest that. And so can T, right? So,
yes.
So give me your take.
My wife will be probably, once I start yelling, she'll be upstairs, but me and my son will be down here trying to not tear up the living room.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you got for tomorrow? What's your hot take? What's your game prediction?
My score prediction, I think it's going to be 31-17. I think Allen's going to have 3 touchdown passes, and he's also going to rush for a touchdown.
I like it.
And then Bass is going to get him a field goal, probably just to seal it later on.
Right. Sweet.
I think I've got Allen throwing right around 345, 350.
Yeah. That's super good.
And one of the keys to victory is going to be Edmonds in the middle.
Edmonds in the middle. I like that a lot. Do you see him becoming a different player this year? Like finally maybe growing into his body, growing into his ability, like maturing?
Absolutely, I do. I think that the time he spent with Luke Kuechly is going to help him out tremendously. Just being able to read and react instead of trying to guess which gap to take. I think that all that knowledge has to rub off, just like with Bruce Smith in the defensive line. It's
super good. Super good. I'm excited, dude. I'm excited for him. I'm excited for this football team. Richard Rush, I appreciate you, man. You're my guy. And like I said, it was great to meet you. For all of you that are in the comments section or watching this afterwards or listening to this as a podcast afterwards, you know, I'm about the connection. Richard is about the connection. All of us are about the connection and connecting with each other. So if you get the opportunity and you're in Buffalo, please let me know. Hit me up. And we'll see what we can make happen. I am busy, but that doesn't mean that I won't do everything I can. I think Richard would tell you, I left work. I had a busy day today. I was like, look, if we're going to do dinner, I can do it at this time to this time. And then I had to leave early, but I still made it, which is good, right?
Yes, you did. And barbell was amazing.
Barbell was amazing. Those wings were great. So we'll tell your son that I said happy birthday on behalf of myself, Jay Spence the King, and all of Rumblings. Happy birthday to him. And Richard, you're the man. I'll talk to you soon. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. I love my man, Richard Rush. He is the man. But I love what he said about Tremaine Edmonds, that this is a big year for Tremaine Edmonds for a lot of reasons, to include, right, his next contract. He needs to begin to put on the field what it is that we hope and expect. Now, I know that there's a lot of underlying stats and there's a lot of underlying things. I saw one earlier this week that he's like the least targeted percentage from a middle linebacker, yada, yada, yada. I don't have all the information, but there's a lot of that weird stuff that we don't necessarily see on the field. We want him to become, right, a Brian Urlacher. We want him to become a Khalil Mack. We want him to become a Ray Lewis. That's what we want. Does he need to be that guy to be an effective middle linebacker? No. Do I think that potential is there? Yes, but it's got to come out of him. He's got length. He's got size. He's got speed. Josh Allen talked about this week. He talked about he doesn't like to, even in practice, throw around him or throw near him because he has the ability to affect the game or affect practice. But it'll be exciting to see what he does. But next up, I got Earth Rocker. I'm getting feedback. Can you do me a favor and either quiet your speaker a little bit for me?
Yeah, hold on.
It's like a radio show. Perfect. That's it. Can you still hear me?
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, getting a little bit of an echo, but it's no big deal. Earth Rocker, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good. Enjoying the nice, cool weather in the south.
Yes. Where you at?
I'm originally from the Elmira Corning area, repping the 607.
Nice. And is that where you are right now? You're in Corning?
No, I'm remember when they did the joint practice a couple of years ago with the Carolina Panthers? That's where I live.
Very cool. Well, very cool. Earth Rocker, what you got for me? This is your moment. Time to shine. Time to shine.
Remember when that game finished and you saw Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs looking at the field and the Chiefs celebrating, and you've heard it all in the offseason. They're angry and they're hungry. And while McDermott's not the type of guy that's, just going to lay it on a team, I think this is a statement game. I think they're going to come out and they're going to say the NFL, that's fine. We're the hunted, but we're hunting a Super Bowl and it's on us and we're going to do it. My score is similar to everyone else's. I'm going to say it's 38-17 with a garbage touchdown at the end where the 17 comes from. But I think they're just going to show the NFL that, especially Josh, I'm not a fluke, and everyone on this team works hard. No one takes that into consideration about Josh Allen. He grew up on a farm, and you got to work hard. And he's the kind of person, it's just built into his DNA. He wants to get better every year. And I know I can't speak for everyone in the Mafia, but I have that mindset too. Like, I try to get better every day at my job, Yep. And I think that's what makes this team so special, because every person on the team has that same mindset.
Awesome. And what do you got for Josh Allen's stat line?
I think he's going to throw for 400 yards. And I know that might sound bold, but I mean, they don't got really, aside from Mitzvah Fitzpatrick, they don't really got much in the back. So I mean,
well, Joe Hayden is on this football team.
What's that?
Joe Hayden is on this football team.
I'm not worried about it. I think between Josh and Dayball, and I think they know exactly what they want to do, and I think the offense is going to dictate this whole game.
Super good. Earth Rocker, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Give me a Go Bills.
Go Bills. Let's do it.
Let's go Bills. That was awesome. Earth Rocker, first time in the show. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Appreciate you. You are the man. Thank you for being a listener. My next guy, G Seals. What's up, my man? How are you?
Hey, man, what's going on? Good to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you. Where are you at?
I'm in Falls Church, Virginia.
Falls Church, Virginia. I was just in Virginia not too long ago. It's a beautiful state. It's good to see you. This is your moment, brother. It's your time to shine. What you got for me?
All right. Well, I think Buffalo's going to take it. The score will be 27-13 Buffalo. I think that Pittsburgh will not score a touchdown until it's garbage time in the fourth quarter.
Wow. So you see that defense coming up big?
Yes, sir, I do. I think the rookie's going to is worth mentioning is that Rousseau will be going up against a rookie left tackle. Ooh, and if we recall the Chicago Bears preseason game, we know how that turned out.
Yeah, we did know. And what was the Lions as well. So he played in the Lions game. He played against their first string or their first draft pick. I can't remember his name. Chris Jenke, I'm sure knows it. It'll come up in the chat here in a second.
Penny Sewell, right?
Yes, Penny Sewell. That's right. So, and he did very, very well against him, and he's learning. So there's an aspect of like he's learning how to use his hands. He's learning how to use his length. What do you foresee from him, from Greg Rousseau in the 2021 season?
Wow. Well, he will, rack up some sacks over the course of the year. The only question is, of course, how many. I think on the short side, 5 sacks. I think on the high side, he could get as many as 9. I do believe that, like most young players in their first year, that he will probably hit the wall somewhere around the 15th game. And so I expect that to happen with Rousseau. I think conversely, I think that Basham will start out very slow, just because he's going to play several positions. And as the season goes on, I think he'll be active. I think Basham will probably be good for about 5 sacks over the course of the year. I think the sack leader will be Ed Oliver.
Wow, that's awesome. How do you see Star Latulile's absence from this football game playing out tomorrow?
Wow. Well, very disappointing, first off, from a fan standpoint. I think as far as the team is concerned, we're in very good hands by having, Phillips filling in behind him. And we've also got Butler, which I'm very glad that we held on to him rather than trade him away. But he will definitely be missed.
Very cool. What do you got for Josh Allen's stat line for me?
Josh Allen, 375, 2 touchdowns. I think the Bills will score 2 through the air, 2 on the ground.
Very cool. And last question. What's your first name, G?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey. Last question, Jeffrey. How did you become a Bills fan?
Well, my grandfather lived in the Fruit Belt, and we would go to his house on Sundays, and we would hear the team cheering. And so I started out as a youngster asking, what's all the noise about? And then when I became a fan at a young age and saw OJ as he, developed his skills and contributed to the pantheon of Bills lore.
Super good.
And I've been a lifelong Bills fan.
Super good. I appreciate you being a part of the show. Don't be bashful. Your takes were good. And so stick around and show up every single week and bring me what you got. I'd love to have you. But you're the man. I appreciate you. Go Bills. And we'll talk to you some more later on.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Love it, man. I love seeing people. I love connecting with people that I didn't even know were listeners or were watchers of this show. And that's what this is about. People that have been lurkers or aren't in the comments section. To me, that's what makes this moment, this time to shine thing so super cool. Right now, I've got one more person in the queue. I got Matthew coming up. So this is literally the moment. So if you are on the fence, if you're not sure, you've got a take, but you're not afraid, but maybe a little nervous. overcome that. If you've got to jump in with me right now, I've got some stuff to talk about. We're only going to go till 9:00 because the chop up's coming up after this. But with that, I'm going to bring on Matthew right now. And Matthew, your microphone is muted, so you want to unmute your microphone first.
That would help. Brother. Yes.
Welcome to the show, brother. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm super excited for tomorrow. I cannot wait. I go to the home opener every year, and last year was so difficult to not be there.
Yeah, I think that was the first one I've missed. So I started splitting the tickets. So if you've been paying attention to my show at all, the Overreaction Show, I've talked about it a lot. The tickets have been in my family forever. I started buying them with my dad when my grandpa couldn't go anymore in 97. That was the first home opener I've missed since 1997. And to your point, it was tough.
That was so difficult. I have the same group of people every year. We do the same thing. It's just that routine, and when you don't get that, it's so hard.
Yeah, for
and especially when they were good,
Yeah, that was
it was tough to see.
Last year, I remember going. So I went to the playoff game, the Colts game, with Jay Spencer King. It was just where my seniority worked. My dad couldn't go, so he's like, "You can take whoever you want." So Jay Spence flew up from Arizona, and I remember going through there was a great deal of like this team is super good. And Bills Mafia has never met them, and they've never met us. And it was somewhat emotional driving to the stadium that day for the very first time, seeing the lights, because we couldn't go. There was just no way to get there. So I'm with you, dude. Like the anxiousness, the excitement that I have that's welling up inside of me is pretty incredible. And
I went to one of the open practices with my dad, and to see Josh Allen throwing the ball in the stands with the kids and everything. Right. Like my cousin's 12-year-old, that was the first time he'd been to the stadium ever. And he was like, "Oh, there's so many people here." And I was like, "Wait till there's 70,000 people." Because it was, it was like less than 20,000 people there or something like that. And it was just wait.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you got for me? Matthew, this is your moment. This is your time to shine. Give me a take.
Hot take. I think the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl this year. That's nice. My hot take.
That's a great. I like that.
I have never been that guy. I've never been this is our year. JP Losman, EJ Manuel. I've never been that. We went to the playoffs in 2017. I was never that guy.
Right.
But last year, it sort of started to feel like, well, maybe we have something going, and I think this is that year.
Yeah,
I think everything, people coming back. You got Emmanuel Sanders now. Diggs is incredible. He and Josh have such a good relationship. I think that all that stuff is just coming together at the right time with the right people. And with Sean McDermott being the coach, there's no reason they shouldn't be there.
Question for you. You've got a gamer headset on. Are you a gamer?
Yes, 100%.
Do you buy into this conversation or this I don't want to say story, into this narrative? It's not even a narrative, it's real life. Do you buy into this? What we were told is it's COVID year last year. There's no organized activities, there's no meet and greets, nobody's around the stadium, nobody's around the field house, nobody's in the offices, and Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs began to play video games together.
I have actually watched them stream Warzone, and it is really fun.
Do you believe that connection that they have was truly solidified through? Because I don't game. It's not something that I do. I grew up playing Mario Brothers on a Super NES because I'm really old. But outside of that, I never really got into gaming. But do you believe that bond that they share came through gaming, or was that just kind of the beginning? And then when they got together, it was like, oh no, like we're like really like we fit.
Me personally, yes, because my best friend growing up when I was in high school moved to Michigan a long time ago, and through the pandemic, we have been playing video games back and forth, just like getting together and playing games, like four of us. And I haven't seen him in several years, but I still feel really close to him just because we can have these experiences together. Because it's like you get together and you kind of have a shared goal.
Yep.
And I think with gaming, and it's not as physical and it's not as like intense as football is, but you can have that connection just based on a shared experience. And I think even gaming over the internet, I think can give that to you for sure.
That's pretty sweet. And then obviously it builds once they begin to get together. There's almost the walls come down early from the gaming part, right? And then it becomes very easy.
So you get that experience, and then you get into the same room together, and you're like, oh, I've already got this connection with this guy. Yeah, I think I 100% believe that. For sure.
Cool. So give me a Josh Allen prediction, and I'm going to ask you for something different than everybody else, and also give me a Stephon Diggs prediction.
Okay. Josh Allen, I'm going to say at least 300. 2 in the air, 1 on the ground.
Nice.
Stephon Diggs going to have 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards. I think they're going to go off. I don't see Pittsburgh as much of a threat.
Really? So you don't see them 11-0 net last year was probably not a flash in the, I don't have to worry. Not an aberration, but it maybe not be indicative of who they really are.
I just don't think that they're on the level that the Bills are right now.
That's it. I would probably agree. Najee Harris, does he scare you at all?
No.
Not at all.
Not at all. You can't beat the Bills with a run game. You just can't.
I like it.
I don't think you can. Yeah.
I like it. And final score, did you give me a final score yet?
I didn't. I'll say 28-10.
28-10. Everybody seems to be kind of in that same vein. High 20s, low 30s. There's a couple high 30s, but everybody sees this Bills offense picking up right where they left off. And you said you went to an open practice, right? Which one did you go to?
The second one.
Dude, he was on fire in that practice.
The ball never hit the ground. Yeah.
I tell people, the third practice was weird. The second practice, and it wasn't Josh Allen's fault. It was just weird the way the whole thing happened. The second practice, he did whatever he wanted to do. People ask me, how did Josh look? I'm like, he did whatever he wanted to do in the pocket. And if they flushed him, he did whatever he wanted to do outside the pocket. It was very wild to see. He just did whatever he wanted, and the defense couldn't do anything about it. So, yeah, dude, like for real.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But man, that's such a good thing to see.
Well, Matthew, I've enjoyed the conversation. We're going to do this every single week. So,
all right,
absolutely,
I'll be here.
Yeah. Line up. Give me a hot take, a prediction every week. Other than that, brother, go Bills. Enjoy this.
Go Bills.
Game. Go Bills. We'll talk to you soon, brother. Thank you. Man, this has been a lot of fun. So we're open. Other than this guy whose microphone is muted. What's up, dude? Unmute your microphone. Unmute your microphone, brother. You just got to click it and unmute it.
Oh, no, wait. Yeah, there.
There it is. What are you still doing here?
I'm listening to the show, man.
You
can't let me get up at 1 o'clock in the morning for a 5-minute conversation and go back to bed. May as well watch it while I'm here.
Well, unless we get another caller, I'm going to finish the show with my good friend Dave Thorpe from Britain, from the UK. Things to watch for. I'm gonna throw some things at you. So everybody, welcome back into the show, Saxa Dave. So okay. You're hanging out in your Buffalo Bills winter hat. What's the weather there like right now?
It's roasting, to be honest with you. Why I've got this on, I do not know. I am sweating. It's not a good idea.
That's amazing. It was beautiful here in Buffalo. I think you heard me say that a second ago.
Yeah.
Here's my question. So with Star being out of this football game, and I'm guessing you're aware of that. I said it at the top of the show.
Yeah.
It's time for Harrison Phillips to show his growth and his maturity. Where do you see it? How do I want to phrase this? When he got hurt in the Bengals game 2019, right? That's when he blew out his ACLs. It was 2019, wasn't it? I think it was. And then
it was 2019.
Yeah, 2019. I was at that football game. He was becoming a formidable defensive tackle. What's funny about this conversation as I set this question up is I met his parents today. So his parents were at the Circle the Wagon skate party for charity that Jay Spence the King threw today. His parents were there. And I introduced my daughter, McKenna, who McKenna loves Harrison and she loves the Bills. And I introduced my daughter, Addison, to them. And then lo and behold, his dad comes back with 2 8x9 autographed pictures of Harrison. And even in the picture, it was like, this dude is like huge now. He's 40 or 50 pounds heavier than he was in the autographed picture that Harrison's parents gave my daughters. And they gave him 2 different pictures. What do you see from him 2021 this season from a growth standpoint, maturity standpoint?
To be fair, I think the talent on that line now, I think everybody's going to look good this year. Regardless, Groot and Basham Jr., I think they're just going to be, everybody's going to contribute more than what, it's just going to be, I'm just so amazed what this D-line's going to look like. This is going to be the highlight for me, especially after last season. I'd like my 38-17 prediction was the wildly 17-0 Super Bowl champs one, but realistically, I think it's going to be a lot like last year. We're just going to grind down, and that D line's going to get the pressures, and that's going to make the difference.
Yeah,
but I think all of them, Epinesa and oh my God, my name's Oliver. There you go. Sorry,
Oliver. Yep.
It's late. Bear with me. I think they're going to have breakout years this year. I think that D line's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I 100% agree. We need that front seven to do what it's supposed to do, with or without Star. And you've heard me say many times, if Star Lotulelei comes back to this football team at 49% of the snaps, which is what he took in 2019, and this defense returns to the number 3 defense or number 4 defense in the NFL, first of all, that means Super Bowl champions, in my opinion, if the offense is top 5 and the defense is top 5. But it also means that Star Lotulelei might be one of the greatest defensive players ever to play football. Regardless of that, we need this front seven, whether it's Harrison, whether it's Justin Zimmer, whoever's playing that one tech, they've got to do what they're supposed to do to allow that back 5, right? Those back 4, whatever, nickel, the back 5 cornerbacks, defensive backs, to do their thing. I think we're going to see a lot in this football game. We're going to see a lot of shuffling. I don't think we're going to see, Ed, 2 defensive tackles, 2 defensive ends always. I think we're going to see in this football game and throughout the season 3 defensive ends, right? And 1 playing inside, whether it's Obata or Greg Rousseau or Basham, and with a defensive tackle who could be Oliver in a 3rd down situation. I think there's going to be a lot of mixing it up, but we need this front seven to do what they're supposed to do so that the defensive backfield can do what they're supposed to do. But it all seems to hinge in this defense, the McDermott defense, on that defensive tackle position. Go ahead.
And no, sorry, I was going to say the same as you, basically. I think we're going to see out of the D-line this year what we thought we were going to get last year.
I agree.
Only better.
I agree.
Like say, even for Abada, the UK connection there, go. But yeah, I think Star's had a lot of flack over the years. And I think last year with him opting out kind of made everybody appreciate him that bit more. He does a very much an unsung job there. And obviously it's a shame he's not in week 1, but from what I've seen, obviously we don't get that much training camp wise over here, but he looks like he's in excellent condition.
Absolutely. What do you see from the trenches in this football game? I don't know if I asked that question. I asked somebody this question earlier.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. How do you think the Bills are going to? Did I ask you that question? How the Bills are going to attack?
Yeah.
All right. So with that, we talked about then the fact that the Bills put Darrell Williams on an island against TJ Watt, who is now, as I said, the highest paid defensive player in the NFL in NFL history. Is Darrell Williams up to that challenge again?
Yeah. I don't see why he can't do it again. He's done it once. So surely if you've done it once and you've done it once, you've got that confidence there the second time around.
Right. And then it just turns into who's watching the film, right? So is TJ Watt trying to figure out what he's going to do against Darrell Williams that's going to beat him? And then obviously they're going to have to double team, in my opinion, Cam Hayward. I remember, I'll leave you with this, and then I'll drop you out, and then I'll finish the show because we're getting close on time because we got another show coming up at 9:00 here Eastern Standard Time. John Fina actually texted me. I don't remember where it was. It was about 2 minutes left in the game, or 2 minutes left in the half. And he said, they've got them figured out. The Bills are going to roll them in the second half. And I was like, I think I responded with, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I remember seeing that same comment at the time, and I was the same. I'm like, I really hope so, because I was the same as you. I wasn't sure at all.
Yeah, and then sure enough, whatever he was watching or whatever he saw as a former Buffalo Bill or former NFL player, like he saw what they were about to do or what they were going to do or how they were going to work it out, and it worked. But I think there's something to what they discovered about themselves and about the Steelers last year. Now, obviously, there's a little bit of an enigma in that they've got a new offensive coordinator, and we don't know what we're going to see from Ben. I think Ben's going to be sharp. I think that running game is going to be difficult. I think between the 20s, they're going to let them kind of not do what they want, but they're going to let them bend. And then when they get inside the 20, like this McDermott defense does, they're going to do their best to shut them down. So, brother, I got to get you over here for a football game. I know that you were supposed to be at the home opener.
Tried so hard for this year. It was all go for. I was devastated. I can't make that. Devastated.
Yeah. Yeah, but
hopefully plans are thought for even bigger and better next year. So we'll have to see.
That's right. Or if there is, hopefully the COVID restrictions lift, and if the Bills do, and a lot of people on here said that the Bills win the Super Bowl, you got to come to Buffalo for the parade, brother.
Now I'll swim for the parade. I don't care. I don't care whether they let me in or not. I'll swim. I'll get there one way or another.
That's awesome, brother. You have yourself. I'm going to drop you back into the green room where you can finish up the show. Have a great night. Go Bills once again. You're the man, Dave. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much for having me back twice.
Yes, sir. Bills. Yes, sir. I got another one. Daniel Gowris, my guy. The world gets to meet Daniel Gowris. What's up, brother?
Hey, Joe. How's it going?
Good, man. How are you doing tonight?
Doing just fine.
Yeah.
Getting psyched for the game tomorrow.
Yeah, are you anxious at all? I'm pretty anxious.
Yeah, I've been anxious for probably about a couple weeks, but looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Where are you calling from, Daniel?
Austin, Texas.
Austin, where the Bills might move. Do you have a thought?
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Well, that would be like the gift of a lifetime for a Bills fan, right? Like, holy cow, my favorite football team is moving to my town.
I would never want the Bills to move out of Buffalo.
No, I agree.
Even if they move to Austin.
Awesome. Well, Daniel, it's I love our banter. I love our conversations back and forth, especially when I got put in timeout and you were all up in it. That's such a fun running joke, and I know it's basically just between you and me, but it's amazing, and I love it. And I just appreciate you being in the comments and being a part of so many shows that I've been on and a part of. You're what makes this whole thing great. So along with everybody else, Chris and Richard, and obviously Dave and everybody else. So just know that. But you jumped in, and I appreciate you jumping in. What do you got for a hot take? First of all, what's your take for this football game tomorrow?
We are living in wildest dreams.
Wildest dreams land, baby.
Hot take is just I think the Bills are going to win tomorrow. Get the season off to a 1-0 start. I think it'll be a tough game, maybe a little tougher than people think. But I think the Bills will win 31-23, and it should be a great game. Awesome, I'm looking forward to watching the game. I'm going to be watching with the Austin Bills backers down at Parlor and Yard, and it'll be my first time seeing some of the guys since 2019. Because I missed all last year.
Very cool. And then Josh Allen stat line prediction?
About 330 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think Devin Singletary will get a rushing touchdown. And I think Diggs will get about 120 yards and a touchdown.
Sweet. Daniel, you are the man. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. I appreciate you. Enjoy this football game tomorrow. And yeah, dude, come back next week and let's do this again next week.
Okay.
Brother, go Bills. Go ahead.
I'll talk to you next week, Joe.
Awesome,
go Bills.
Brother. Go Bills. We'll see you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a ton of fun for me. Real quick, I will give you my thoughts as far as this game. To me, it's going to be a battle of the trenches. We've talked a little bit about it. I talked about it with Dave and some others. The battle in the trenches for me, this offensive line versus their defensive line, our defensive line against their offensive line, is going to determine the wide receiver defensive back battle for both teams. I think and believe that both of our wide receivers are better than their wide receivers. I don't want to say that I'm ready to commit that our defensive backs are better than their defensive backs. Obviously, Hyde and Poyer are formidable. Trey White is the top 5 defensive cornerback in this league. But don't sleep on Minkah Fitzpatrick and Joe Hayden. They're not necessarily soft in their defensive backfield either. To me, it's going to come down to the trenches. I expect to see a lot sharper Big Ben than we have seen in a while. I also expect to see a lot of Najee Harris. Real quick, we had a super chat from Earth Rocker. What's up, my man? Thank you for having me. Wildest Dreams Land. Brother, thank you for being a part of the show. Everybody that came on. I know this is not easy. I remember calling into WGR5 and talking to WGR 550 rather, talking to Sal Capaccio and being nervous on the phone with Sal. I know it's not easy, but I appreciate everybody that did. My final prediction for this football game before I let you guys go, and there's another show coming up. The Buffalo Bills 31, Steelers 24. I believe Josh Allen is good for 346 yards. I've got him for 3 touchdowns, whether that's 1 passing, 2 rushing, 2 passing, 1 rushing, or 3 passing touchdowns. I think Josh is good for 3. And I believe that Devin Singletary actually scores the very first touchdown of the season. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the very first ever, and I think a very wildly successful Bills Mafia Time to Shine. I appreciate everybody that's been a part of the show. I thank all of you guys. You guys are literally what makes it fun for us to do this. So do me a favor. If you enjoyed this, if this was fun, come back next week. We'll see you guys next time. And as always,